My name is Mr. D'Addario, and I am the librarian at Barrett Elementary School. And today I'm going to read to you Follow That Tap Water, A Journey Down the Drain. It is by Bridget Heos and illustrated by Alex Westgate. I'm reading it with permission from and thanks to Amicus Publishing. So, Follow That Tap Water, A Journey Down the Drain. I thought the perfect place to read this book would be right near my sink, so that's why I'm sitting here in my kitchen where I wash the dishes with my tap water. So here we go. Swish! When you help wash the dishes, the dirty dishwater goes down the drain. Have you ever wondered where it goes after that? Let's follow a few drops of water and see. Wee, plop, whoop, plunk, whoosh, drip, drop, flush, ooh, bye. The drain leads to a U-shaped pipe under the sink. This catches things that shouldn't go down the drain, and it stops sewer smells from coming back into your house. So what I'm going to do now is show you the U-shaped pipe under my sink, and maybe you can also go look at the U-shaped pipe under your sink. This isn't just the kitchen sink, it should be in all sinks in your house. So here we are under my sink, and you can see that U-shaped pipe, and remember, it catches all the things that shouldn't go down the drain, and it stops the smell from coming back up into my house, and then I don't smell smelly things. So after it goes through the U-shaped pipe, then the water goes straight down the drain pipe. It's like a super fast slide. The water reaches a new pipe under the house and changes direction. This pipe takes water out of the house. The pipe slopes slightly downward so that the water flows gently downhill. And slope means it's not straight, it's at an angle a little. Next stop, the city sewer. Here, your dirty dishwater meets dirty water from the other houses on your street. Sink water, bathtub water, washing machine water, and toilet water are all here. It's like a big stinky party. So if you look over here, you can see all the water coming from all the houses, all the apartment buildings, maybe a school. All the water goes straight to the city sewer, which is usually on the street. And you can usually see sometimes big circles on the ground in the street. And if it has an S on it, it's like a manhole cover is what they're called. And that, underneath is the sewer, because sometimes things get stuck in it and people need to fix it. Or if it breaks, people can open up the cover and go in and fix what the problem is. All that dirty water eventually flows into a bigger pipe, where it meets even more dirty water. Oh, but I already took a bath today. Uh-oh, party's over. The dirty water has arrived at the water treatment plant. Here, it will get clean. Hey, even bath water needs to get washed. First, screens catch big items like that lettuce leaf and the sock that escaped the washing machine. All this stuff goes to the garbage dump. At the same time, grit settles to the bottom of the tanks. These are small but heavy pieces like sand, eggshells, and coffee grounds. Next, fat is skimmed off the top of the water by a big machine. The fat comes from foods like butter and cheese, which were in your macaroni and cheese. So at the top, all the fat is there, and then a machine comes and skims, which means it kind of like scrapes all that fat off. It says, now I'm fat-free. Now, tiny living things are put in the water. These microorganisms eat any food left in the water, like little bits of noodles that got washed down the drain. They also eat the dirty toilet water. Noodles again. I got toilet water. Meanwhile, yucky stuff from the water is recycled. When the microorganisms eat, they leave behind sludge. This sludge is used as fertilizer to help plants grow. So all the sludge gets usually taken out of the water, and I've been to a water treatment plant before where they take that sludge and they put it into big tanker trucks, and then the tanker trucks take them to farms and they use that sludge to fertilize all sorts of plants and crops on the farm. Finally, the workers add special chemicals to disinfect the water to kill any bacteria and other germs left. All clean. The water flows through a pipe into the river. Ah, there's nothing like fresh air. What if it rains? Rainwater doesn't need to be cleaned. It flows straight into storm drains that flow into rivers. That's why it's important not to throw trash into storm drains. Later, the water is collected, cleaned, and then sent through pipes to your house. It comes out of your faucet, so the same water may be used to wash dishes twice. So in Arlington County, the water, when it goes down your drain, goes through the sewage pipes to the Arlington Wastewater Treatment Plant. And you can find that kind of over near Potomac Yard, near Crystal City. And then the water, when it's all finally done and clean, goes to 4 Mile Run. So a cool experiment you can do is you could recycle it yourself and make your own water filter. You need dirt, water, plastic 2-liter bottle. Those are usually what you find soda in, the big bottles of soda. You need some small rocks or pebbles, some sand, and some cotton balls. Though you don't have to have all those things. If you just had cotton balls and some sand, that would probably work. So first you would add dirt to some water, maybe in a cup or a glass, or you could use dirty dishwater. Then you can ask a grown-up to cut the big plastic bottle in half. Then you're going to place the top half of the bottle in the bottom half, lid side down. You can see that in the picture here. So they kind of put the top in so that it's wide at the top and narrow in the middle. Then you're going to build your filter. So you're going to put cotton balls first, then the sand, and then at the very top, you're going to sprinkle in some rocks or pebbles. Then you're going to pour the dirty dishwater over the filter, and you're going to see it trickle through the bottom of the filter, and the bottom half of the bottle is going to start to be filled with cleaner filtered water. Now, it's not clean enough to drink, but you could certainly use it to water flowers or a garden or tree or grass or something outside. Now, the back of the book has a glossary. Remember, a glossary tells you some words from the book, and it gives you their definition. That means it tells you what it means. So our glossary has the word disinfect, which means to clean by using chemicals, fertilizer, material added to soil to make plants grow better, microorganisms, which means living things such as bacteria that can only be seen with a microscope. Sewer is an underground pipe that carries wastewater. Sludge is mud or muck. In this case, it comes from sewage. Storm drain is a slot on the side of the street which rainwater flows, and storm drains usually flow into rivers. And finally, the water treatment plant is an operation or a building that cleans sewer water. And if you want to read more, there are some other titles of books you could read to find out about tap water and other like rainwater. And there are some websites that you could also find some information about that you could access. And that was the end of our book. So really quickly, I'm going to talk to you when you have in your kitchen, you are cleaning your dishes and, maybe your parents are cleaning up after dinner. It's really important that, most things can go down the sink, but something that's really important not to put down the sink is grease and fat, because that can clog not only your pipes so that the wastewater then can't leave your house, but it also can clog the sewer. So all the houses on your street, all their water gets backed up. So it's really important that when you're cooking with oil or butter, if there's a lot of it, that you don't just put it down the drain. So last night, for instance, I had some chicken and I was frying it up in some oil. And what I did is I had an empty jar. So this used to be raspberry habanero jam, really good. And what happened was I had a lot of grease in my pan. So what I did is I used some paper towels to scrape that grease into the jar, and then I'm going to put the jar in my trash can. So instead of this stopping up my pipes and making it not be able to go down, like the water getting stuck in my pipes and maybe even the sewer pipe in the street, instead that fat and that oil goes into the trash can. So acronym that you can use to remember that is FOG. So fats, oils, and grease. Those are three things you don't want to put down sink at all, anywhere in the house, but mostly the kitchen. So remember fog, fats, oil, and grease. Now, if you want, you can visit the Arlington wastewater treatment plant. They do have tours that are open to the public. The building is currently closed, but maybe this summer or in the fall when things are back to normal, it's a really fun tour. It doesn't even smell that bad, and you get to see how all the dirty water in Arlington comes into the building and all the stages it goes through, and then it comes out as clean water into 4 Mile Run. You can also go by there on the bike trail when things are back to normal again. And it's kind of an interesting, you can see all the buildings and stuff that it goes through, and you can see water waiting in tanks and, all the fat being skimmed off like we read about in the book. So if you are interested, you can also learn more about it at arlingtonva.us. And if you go to environment and then to water, and then you can go down to water quality, and you'll find the water pollution control plant. So I'm going to click on the picture, and on the website, it shows you the aerial view. Like I said, it's a pretty big facility. Here's an equalization tank, 13 lift stations, so it has to lift the water. And then there's a clarifier. And like I said, there are tours available to the public. So the address is right here, 3402 South Glebe Road, Arlington, Virginia, 22202. There's plenty of parking, and there's gate 8 off of South Glebe Road. And if you wanted to call, you can call 228-6820. And there are tour hours when they're regularly open are 9 to 11 or 1 to 3 Monday through Friday. You can also, there's a video down here if you wanted to watch the video about the wastewater treatment plant. And I think this is pretty interesting. It is a facility that treats 23 million gallons of wastewater from residences and businesses, with nearly 20% coming from neighboring localities such as Arlington, or Alexandria, Fairfax, and Falls Church. So if you're interested, you can check out the website and learn a little bit more about the wastewater treatment plant. If you click on this, it'll take you to a website to show you more about the wastewater treatment, and kind of like the book, and it'll show you the stages of how the water at Arlington's specific plant, how the water goes through treatment before it gets released.